Egypt's military junta named a new prime minister late last week. But he hasn't been able to get to his office yet. Hundreds of protesters occupied the street in front of the building, and they did not budge even after an armored police vehicle ran over and killed a 19-year-old demonstrator. A few blocks away, thousands continued to occupy Tahrir Square for the 10th day. The military regime agreed to a ceasefire with the protesters, who formed a human wall to prevent clashes from starting again.
كان في اشتباكات من بعض كلها من الشباب مع الجيش والحمد لله سيطرنا على الموقف والاطباء وشيوخ الازهر تم التعامل مع بعض الشباب اللي هي حبت تجيب مشاكل مع الجيش والكلام دوت والحمد لله والمكان امن جدا جدا ومفيش اي اصابات ومفيش اي حاجه والنهارده مفيش اي اصابات ولا في اي حاجه. يا دي الخزي ويا دي العار يا دي الخزي ويا دي العار.
But despite the relative calm, protesters say they will hold their ground until a military council cedes power to a civilian government.
The hardcore majority that are on the front lines are just people that are tired of this humiliation and they want it over and they're willing to give their lives for it. Also because they have faith that we will win.
On Friday, tens of thousands gathered in Tahrir to condemn the violence against protesters that left over 40 dead, dubbing the first day of rest since the clashes broke out as the Day of Martyrs. Religious leaders from the prominent Al-Azhar institution lent their support to the protesters against the military council. On Monday, Egypt holds its first election since the fall of Hosni Mubarak 9 months ago. The balloting for the lower house of parliament has driven a wedge to the country's pro-democracy movement. Many Egyptians in Tahrir vowed to boycott the elections.
رأي كل الناس ان ده مش وقت انتخابات لان ما ينفعش ان انت تروح تنتخب وانت اساسا لسه ما تحققش المطالب وفي نفس الوقت ما نقعدش 5 ايام الناس بتضرب بالنار وبتموت ويرجع تصريحات اصل في ناس عارف انت في يعني حاجات اللهو الخفي اللي هو بيطلع يضرب على المتظاهرين ويضرب على الشرطه فكلام مش مقنع فانا الانتخابات ما تعملش الا لما تحاسب مين اللي عمل كده وهو ده المهم وهو ده المبدأ الاولاني.
But opinions on the elections are divided in Tahrir. Many say they will vote despite their doubts about the electoral process.
Of course I'm going to vote. Because I think what they're doing is that they're trying to confuse us and bring us all to Tahrir so that the people that they want, the Muslim brothers that is, go and vote and then we have a parliament of just Muslim brothers. And we can't let this happen. If there is elections, of course we're going to vote. We cannot let them have it all.
Egypt's most powerful political organization has been quietly preparing for the elections. The Muslim Brotherhood's Freedom and Justice Party is expected to win a plurality of seats in the People's Assembly. The Brotherhood was a major player in the January Revolution that toppled Mubarak, but the organization has been absent from the latest uprising, instead choosing to cooperate with the military council.
شهدائنا في التحرير ومصابينا والوطنيين المصريين الموجودون بالتحرير نحن نتحد معهم في أهدافهم ولكن نختلف في وسيلة التطبيق. نحن نريد أن يكون التغيير والممثل الشرعي للشعب المصري في خلال أيام الانتخابات من خلال صندوق الانتخابات وليس من خلال صندوق الذخيرة والذي يدفعنا إليه بعض القوى الخفية وبعض أركان النظام السابق للأسف الشديد وعلى رأسهم جهاز أمن الدولة والأيادي الخفية التي حدثنا عنها المجلس العسكري.
By mid-morning Monday, the Muslim Brotherhood's political gambit seemed to have paid off.
The Real News Network covered the 2010 parliamentary elections here in Cairo under the Mubarak regime last year, where we witnessed fraud and corruption. A number of supporters and candidates of the Muslim Brotherhood were literally pushed out of the polling areas, and the voter turnout was much lower than it is before. But as you can tell so far, the voter turnout is extremely high, and people here express excitement and optimism over the electoral process, saying only through the ballot boxes can democracy come back to Egypt. However, the question remains as to whether the results and the outcome of this election will strengthen the position of the military council. Meanwhile, hundreds remain in Tahrir Square, boycotting an election they say is invalid under a military junta which has blood on its hands. Jahan Hafiz for The Real News in Cairo, Egypt.